Okay, good morning, Eastwood Primary School. I'm outside. It's a nice sunny day. I thought I'd do this outside for you today. It's the second science experiment that I've done. If you haven't seen the first one, it's on the school Facebook page or it's on the school website. It's about creating a sundial, and today's a lovely day for doing that as well. But I thought what we'd do today is something a bit different, and we'd incorporate art and science together. And what we're going to actually create is an optical illusion, and in particular we're going to create something called a thaumatrope, which is the very first animation that was ever created. So whenever you watch any form of film that's got animation at the moment, any kind of Disney film or anything like that, you're actually seeing animation. And when animation was first created, it was created by putting lots of different slides together and then playing them at an incredibly quick speed to make things look like they're moving. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to do something that was very, very early in creation, the first form of animation, and that will make your eyes and your brain think you're seeing something that actually isn't really there. So to do that, we need a series of a few things. You're going to need a piece of paper. Now, if you haven't got a piece of paper, you can have any colour paper, doesn't matter. You could have a piece of card. Card's probably better. If you've got a piece of card, that's even better. If you haven't got that, you can get like a bit of cardboard box or something like that. Anything would work. And you're going to need a bit of string. Okay, you don't need a whole roll of string. Actually, you only need a piece that's around about this long. Okay, you'll see how long it'll be. You're going to need a pair of scissors. You're going to need a pencil, and ideally kind of like a black biro or like a kind of sharp, really dark black pen. I've got a Sharpie. Obviously, if you're going to use this, be really careful about it because it's permanent, but any kind of dark kind of pen would be great. If you want to use felt tip pens to colour in, you can do that. You're going to need a ruler. I've got mine here from the Poppy Appeal, which is really kind of in vogue at the moment because it's VE Day coming up on the 8th, and some glue. And if you haven't got any glue, you can use sellotape. I've got my sellotape over here, but I don't need sellotape because I've got glue, but I'll show you anyway. Anyway, I'm going to show you how it's done. My son's filming this, so I hope he's filming this brilliant. But I'm going to ask him to come closer so you can see what I'm doing from this side. So he's going to zoom into the page like here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my ruler. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create two squares that are around about 5 centimeters by 5 centimeters, or 6 centimeters. In fact, I'm going to make mine 5 centimeters, but it really doesn't matter what size it is. You don't want to do it too small, you don't want to do it too big. So I'm going to get my pencil, and I'm going to do it from the corner. In fact, I'm going to use this side. I'm going to go from the corner, and I'm going to measure from 0 to 5 centimeters. I'm going to do a little line here, and then I'm going to do another one, 0 to 5 centimeters, do a little line here. Then I'm going to measure up the side, 5 to 0, and then I'm going to go up the side here. I'm going to put 5 on my first mark, up to 0, 5 up to 0, and I'm going to measure across. So I've got two boxes that are 5 by 5. Okay, very simple. Then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut those out, and then I'm going to hope paper doesn't blow away off the table because it's so windy. So I'm going to cut my little boxes out, and what's probably going to happen now is the next piece of paper is going to fly off as soon as I put it down. So I'll have to be very careful. Very windy where I live, so I've got my two pieces of paper. I'm going to put them under here so they don't fly away, which they probably will. I'm going to put this one under here so that doesn't fly away, which I can see it's going to. So I'm going to fold it up and put it in my pocket. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to draw two images. Okay, I'm going to draw a picture of a cage, a bird cage. I'm going to draw a picture of a bird. Okay, so first I'm going to draw a picture of my bird cage. I'm going to use my pencil first, and I'm going to go over it with my darker pen. So my bird cage is a large oval, like that. Then I'm going to draw the cage around it. Okay. Do a little circle on top. There's my bird cage, and what I'm going to do is I'm now going to colour that in with my Sharpie. If you haven't got a Sharpie, you can use a darker black pen. I'm just going over the lines and this helps you see it when it becomes the visual illusion. I'm just going over the lines here, just like that. Okay, now that's my bird cage. I'm going to put that under something so it doesn't blow away. Now on this one I'm going to draw my bird, a bit harder to draw. My bird needs to be smaller than my bird cage. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start drawing some circles. That helps me. So I've got my bird's head, that's kind of like a little circle here. I'm going to do it lightly. Then I've got, I'm actually a little bit bigger than that. Then I'm going to do my bird's body, that's that circle. I'm going to do a little tail, and I'm going to do 2 legs. Doesn't look anything like a bird, but I'll carry on, you'll see how it will. So here's my bird's head. I'm going to go over the head, down the side, and around. Over the head, down the side, and around. And then I'm going to go down for the bird's tail. Then I need 2 lines coming down with his feet, and I'm going to come round and add a little beak. Okay, now I can colour that in. If you want to do it with felt tip, you can colour it with felt tip, but I'm going to do it with my little Sharpie, just colouring that bird in. And this bird's going to be all coloured in black. The reason it's going to be coloured in black helps it really stand out, because you've got black image, you've got a white image, and it will really help make the image pop, make it far better for your optical illusion when you're doing it. So I'm going to keep colouring it in, make sure it's nice and coloured, staying in the lines, don't want to rush it. I'm going a bit faster because it's a video, but you can really take your time. And obviously, as I said, you can make this a lot bigger. If you've got card, this works much bigger, much better. I'm using paper, so it's quite flimsy, but if you're doing card, you could do a bigger one, maybe a 10 by 10 square. Now I've got my bird, and I've got my bird cage. So what I'm going to start with, I'm going to put this back here underneath my tape. I'm going to get a piece of string, and I'll need a piece of string that's a little bit longer each side than the actual picture. So I'm going to measure it out. I want it to be about, that long, roughly. Doesn't need to be a certain size. I'm going to cut it out. That's perfect. So what I'm going to do is, you can either glue it, a bit of glue. We can get a bit of sellotape. I'm going to get a bit of sellotape. I'm going to get my little bit of sellotape here. Use my nails. Cut myself a little bit of sellotape there. And I'm going to stick that there. Over the top. And just another one, just to stick that in place. Doesn't need to be done exactly. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to stick this bird on top of this picture. I'm going to use glue to do that. You could use the sellotape. You can make it like a kind of double-sided by wrapping it around itself, or you can stick it around the edges, however you want. But what's really, really, really important here is that both can't be the same way up. If you have a look, my bird cage is this way up. Now when I stick my bird to the back, it can't be the same way up. The bird has to be upside down. Okay, it has to be upside down. So I'm going to turn around my cage, it's the right way up, and put my bird upside down. So here we go. I'm going to put some glue on this. This bit here. Put some glue here. Lovely. And then it's upside down. It must be upside down. If it isn't upside down, it's not going to work. It will look strange. It will look like your bird's turned upside down inside the cage. Then what we're left with is a piece of string with a bird on one side and the cage on the other. Now what you want to do is, when you do this, and I'm going to ask James, my son, to look at me, what you'll see is, when you start doing this, you need your bird on one side and the bird facing you, and your cage on the other side. Now I'm going to do it facing me, and then I'm going to do it facing you. And then what you do is you just hold it, and then you just spin it. Okay? Now if I do it for you, I want to hold the bird, I'm going to hold the cage, and I'm going to spin it, and hopefully what you should see is an optical illusion that makes it look like the bird is in the cage. I'll do it one more time. Oh, you get it? The bird is in the cage. The faster you spin, the more it looks like the optical illusion is real. And you can do this with anything. You can try and do anything that you want, where you've got two things moving at the same time. Could be anything. Could be a picture of a window, and then a person of a picture appear, and then a person in the window. So you can have a person with a window on the other side, so it could look like the person's in the window. Could be literally anything. Maybe have a TV screen, and then you could have someone in the TV in the next one. So you could have the TV and the screen and it could appear. It could be anything you want that you could really think about. It could be like a mountain, and then you could have someone standing and then it could appear like they're on the top. It could be all sorts of things. Kind of your imagination could go wild with this. Very simple to use, very easy to use with very little equipment. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that video. I'll see you next time.